Hey guys, what's up? Another edition of the Nuke Stream. As you guys come in, nice to see you guys tonight. And today we're going to talk about buffers against rejection, and why men use them, and why they refuse to go out there and learn about women themselves. Uh, but I already see we have Jack. How you doing? Yes, guys, hit the like button. Help me out. Hopefully, my stream doesn't get taken down this time. Last time it was taken down midstream. Never seen that before. So, um, yeah, very, very interesting, very fascinating. Um, anyways, guys, you'll notice that now that dating content, red pill content, whatever you call it, is popularizing, right? That people kind of want answers as to why things are so hard. I saw the shift after COVID where I've always been trading notes and learning from a more experienced guy since 2013. Did it take me a long time to like get it? Yes, because I didn't have the opportunity to date, learn about women as much. I was in the military. I was stuck on a ship all the time. I dated very little, and for the most part, um, I didn't have much time to think about why women did the things they did and why I did the things I did. I had a cursory understanding of intersexual dynamics, much more than the average person. But by the time it was already, I was worrying about what a woman did, of why she did it. I was already deployed at sea, or just had a busy schedule, had duty that weekend, had no time to think about these things, right? Which is, in a way, it's good because, uh, my 20s were building for my future comfortable life that I have now. But that being said, when I got out of the military and I first, during the pandemic, I tried dating, and then, I did have a lot of trouble because I had more time to think about why women did the things they did. I had more time to like dwell on certain questions. I had more women to talk to because I had more free time. So it became a really important for me again to learn this stuff. So I did watch red pill content, but something that also captured me was ideological content, right? Like stuff like right wing politics and certain things like that, because it was first I was an election year, um, and also on top of that, it was COVID was happening. There was a lot of political kind of strife, and it kind of sucked me in, just like and it could suck anyone else in and all that. So I kind of stopped paying attention to dating content, focus more on political right wing content because that was happening at that time. However, it always creeped in my mind, hey, women, you need to learn about this women stuff, blah blah blah. And I moved to Dallas after the in 2021, January 2021, and I that's when like I kind of started going out there again, and then more dating podcasts were being released. Fresh and Fit started. It was fun to watch a woman get kicked off, I guess, for a while. But then I realized something, that while I was watching these Red Meat podcasts as for entertainment, that a lot of people were watching uh, podcasts and were using their politics and all that stuff, and weren't exactly out there doing what I was doing. I set up my dating apps in January 2021. It was still kind of there were still lockdowns over the country. There was, but Texas was kind of spearheading. I think it was Texas and Florida, maybe Alabama, was it, Louisiana, like spearheading, like getting outside and living a normal life. So I was lucky in that regard. And dating apps were pretty easy. Like it wasn't so hard to get a match. I don't know if because my algorithm favored me because I was new to the city, but I had a very crazy first year of dating. So because of this, I was out there. I was learning in real time about women. I was like thinking why women do this, why women do that. I was experiencing women from different walks of life, different ages. So I was compiling. I didn't know at the time, but I was learning a lot about women. So in the future, I could share notes with you guys. But I still thought at that time that guys were out there too. Were putting in just as much work as I was, or just dating or trying. even family members, even friends. I thought everyone was out there learning about the girls. So I'm just like, I thought, okay, we're all watching Red Meat podcast. We're all watching Red Pill stuff. We're all watching political stuff, wherever we're watching. But we're also dating, right, guys? And it wasn't until like mid 2022 I started seeing like, hey, I'm kind of different. Like I'm actually giving an effort. I'm trying. And then when I finally wrote that dating thread last year, 2023, February 12th, I think it was, of 2023, and I wrote all this stuff down. And I didn't think I was saying anything crazy. I didn't think I was like out there too much, right? But it struck a chord with a lot of people. Like I got shout outs from a lot of people. And then I realized, wait, even though I know about intersexual dynamics, even though I kind of put in work, most people aren't. Why are people not doing this, right? Why are people quitting? Why are people not giving effort? Why are people reading and becoming red pill evangelists, but not taking this information and putting it into practice? And every year, every so often, there's a new iteration of a very popular content creator, which people like run to watch and they're sensationalized and everyone likes them. And then I look at it and I'm just like, yeah, this is stuff that you learn when you date women, but also, like obviously you go on the internet, you go, hey, why do girls do this? Why do girls do that? Are women this crazy? Really? Oh, I'm not the only one. Cool. But it just seems like it just keeps repeating the same thing over and over again in different ways. Now, I did have a kind of a little online discussion with one of the more sensationalized content creators, Whole Math, right? Which I've watched his stuff, and again, it was one of those things where I've watched his stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, this is entertainment. Like I already know this stuff, and by this point, I already understand too that most people don't really put in the effort that I did, and that's okay. Like I really wanted to date. I was stuck on a ship for 4 years, and I didn't have the opportunity to date, so I kind of wanted to make up for lost time. But as uh, I looked at his content and I saw people ask the questions, right? And you look at the comment sections and all that, it's like I've been reading and looking at this Red Pill stuff since 2012, 2011, right? I started with 48 Laws of Power, then I found the Rouge Forum and Return of Kings, and then I read Rational Male, and then so on and so forth. Um, but there's people that really are lost still, and I don't get the feeling that a lot of people that do consume a lot of this red pill stuff are really really care that much. Like I think they just enjoy getting explained to them, but they don't really take it. I'll say, okay, thanks. Let me go out and try this. I don't think the that's what they're doing. I get that feeling. And guys that get it, guys that go out there and date that are comfortable with rejection, guys that understand women that are womanizers, players, Don Juans, whatever you want to call them, right? There's like we're like in a secret kind of different part of this intersectional dynamics. We're like it's almost like an unspoken club, right? I think Tom Terrell has a name for it, but there is a different world for us in the way we think. A lot of people look at my content, they're just like, oh, I like that you're so human and down to earth and you're very solution oriented. And I'm like, yeah, because everyone else just likes describing the problem and telling you, here's the problem. But no one tells you, besides, obviously the ideas guys like, Ryan Rollo, Cappy, and, other guys I do Rule Zero with. Uh, None of one's telling you, hey, stop reading shit and go out and like fix your problem. And sometimes myself, I'll say things on Twitter, hey, we're not in this together. I don't know you. I don't know your goals. I'm not here to hold your hand to understand things. You either want to understand it and ask the right questions, or you go somewhere else where you can just talk about the problem all day and never never improve. And you get pushback for that, right? Like telling grown men, hey, your happiness is your own problem. You have to go out there and fix this. We cannot just talk about the problem forever. It's entertaining. I understand that intersectional dynamics is fascinating because it's something that affects us all, right? It's like talking about like anything that affects you personally in in your personal life, any soft science or social science that affects you in your personal life, you'll be interested in, right? Because it affects you personally. So it's interesting to talk about intersectional dynamics because you can see it in your own life and in your friends' lives and on TV and celebrities because it affects us all. We are human, and it's interesting to see how the things we do and why we do them. But it doesn't seem like anyone wants to be fix their problem. It seems more that people want to be right, want to prove other content creators wrong, want a group of men to hold their hand, and they don't want to do the work. They want other people to do the work for them and change the universe and the laws in order so they can get laid and be happy. And it seems to me the guys that get the most pushback are the guys that tell these grown ass men, you're a man, figure out what you want and go get it. This we're not in this together. And it's like almost insulting, like oh, Nuke, that's a lack of sympathy for fellow men. I'm like, you're a grown man. What do you mean sympathy? This is the internet. The internet is not a place for you to go get sympathy, right? We're not women. We're men. We're here to solve our problems or use it for entertainment. That's fine too, right? Um, and I often post, like I even made a show. I did a show a couple months ago. Stop consuming content. Really, like consume less. People are like, well, that's antithetical. Though. Sorry, my internet. Just upgraded my internet the other day, and it's still giving me problems. But anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, I say, hey, consume less red pill content, and people are just like, wow, isn't that antithetical to you and your bros? Don't you guys want to make money and grift and all that stuff? And I'm like, I need to charge because this is my time. I do enjoy doing this, but I need to charge. I need some kind of payback for the valuable information I'm giving people. But at the same time, um, you're gonna get stuck in analysis paralysis, right? You're gonna get stuck in a inaction kind of loop where every time you have a negative interaction with a woman, whether it be a rejection, a soft rejection, like swiping through dating apps and not getting a match in weeks, or a breakup or anything, you're gonna run to content creators, and doesn't have to be red. It could be like just watching Patrice O'Neill streams. It could be just watching, the news about how bad women are, like the things they say, to confirm your own budding or developing bias about reality. And what ends up happening is that every time something bad happens with women, you run to this stuff. You don't like say, stop, okay, I got rejected by this woman. Let's see what her friend down the, like for example, the example is I always use, like if I'm at salsa night and I like this girl, she's cute, and I go up to her, hey, you want to dance? She says like, no, I'm good. And then I go back to my little spot where I'm sitting down, and I see her dance with someone else instantly, right? And instead of me saying, well, maybe she's just not into me, she didn't know how to say no, because women are afraid of rejecting men. So I go, let me talk to another girl. And maybe she says no too, like, hey, I'm good, I'm not. And then I sit down, I'm just like, like no one wants me, I'm ugly or whatever. And then I go out again next week, and I have two girls ask me to dance, right? Uh, and imagine how much you'd be more discouraged you'd be if you run to red pill content creators that say how terrible women are. And no one's saying they are or they're not. That's for you to decide, right? Um, you have the same motivation to go out there and be like, hey, it's nothing, it's not a big deal, And yes, there are content creators that have good information, right? But what ends up happening is that it's not even that content like I'll let's sorry, my internet's shitty. Um let's use myself as an example. I'll say I'll have a show or a skirmish on, Twitter and all that stuff. And you have a negative experience with a woman, you come to me and I'm just like, "Hey, women are like this." And I give you like I talk about a topic that has nothing to do with what situation you have. You're looking for the wrong tools. You're looking for the wrong tool for the job, right? And a lot of guys, instead of looking like, okay, let me look through his catalog to see what exactly my problem is. And instead of finding like why rejection affects me or what buffers against rejection, like today, you find a video on something else, right? And that's it. You're stuck back into the loop of reading it, reading and reading, and in action, and not being able to like learn that your problem really is that your inability to take rejection is stopping you from meeting women. And that's it's like you spend so much time digging through the toolbox that you start looking at other tools, and you're just like, "Ooh, this is I haven't seen this tool for a while." And you start uh, it's like when I was young and I would be building some robot or something with Legos, and I needed a certain piece, and I knew in my mind what piece I needed. So I'd go to my big Lego box and I start looking for pieces, and I'm like, I start remember, oh, this piece is shiny. This is nice, and then I start like making something else out of the new because I found all these new Lego pieces that I forgot about, and then I forgot, hey, I have a problem here. I have a piece that I need, but I keep getting distracted by all these shiny other pieces, right? So essentially, Red Pill is becoming like entertainment. It's becoming a buffer against rejection because now men will say, "Well, I'm not ready. I don't know enough. I have to learn and read more books and read more stuff." Blah blah blah. But the truth is, your life, your dating life, your marriage, your relationships are not going to improve unless you yourself take action. And one of the reasons I am in front of you talking on a camera and people kind of respect what I have to say is because when I got to Dallas in 2021, I said enough with binging on political content, red pill content, though I do enjoy the actual topic. I need to go out there and do this for myself. I owe myself to it out there and learn and enjoy women. And I did that. And was it all positive? No, I had very negative experiences with women. Did I have great experiences with women I didn't expect? Of course. Like I got out there and I was like, wait a minute. Everyone told me that this kind of woman sucked. And did I learn to have kind of sympathize with women a little bit? Yeah, because I got to see them and their true self, not the internet version of what they wanted me to see. Although sometimes they are similar. There are, bad people. And then I also realized too, as I go on, one of the big truths that I kind of got to is that I think most guys, right? I don't want to think for anyone. I think most guys that watch this content, they don't dislike women. I think they don't know that they just dislike bad people. Because a lot of the behaviors we see with women online and the crazy shit they do, even on Twitter, right? If you assign that to a guy, it's equally annoying or shitty, and you don't like that, right? And the only way you know this is by like going out and meet some girls, and the whole world will say this kind of girl is not for you or this girl is for you, blah blah, right? Um, I remember, for example, a cultural example of this is when I was growing up in Puerto Rico, right? There was a kind of running joke that Puerto Rico made like to make fun of Asian people, right? Japanese people. And there was even a song by a popular rapper singer, uh, Kaya Trece, where he makes fun of Japanese people and imitates their voice and makes them look silly. Now, time as time went on, anime became popularized, and Japanese culture got exported to Puerto Rico and more respected. Now half my friends are weebs now, or like a lot of the people coming out of Puerto Rico are weebs now. And I moved to Texas in 2020, and I matched with this Chinese girl. Right. And I was just like, whatever. I'm not super into Asian women or anything like that. But I got to know her, and I was like, wait, she's pretty chill. And I got to learn about, hey, I have a preference for this type of women. Right. And not only that, I felt for a while, I felt kind of like, am I one of those weird creeps that likes Asian women, and like that women they themselves try to avoid? And I would date these women. I realized, wait, I didn't even worry about race this whole time. Like there was no like, this is what I got to try this, I have a fetish for this, or I want to see how. It was just like I saw her as a normal person, and I would forget about her ethnicity, right? And that's one of those things where that's what you get when you go out there and experience reality for yourself. Because yes, you get to kind of disseminate it later on to other guys and be like, you know what, this is what I experienced. I don't think this guy knows or whatever. But also, you know what you want, right? And you understand, like, hey, I cannot let other people decide what they want from me. I have to kind of experience it myself. And if I don't do that, someone else will decide for me what I want. And that's what we're seeing a lot now. You can see this with the body count. You can see this with the body count discourse, right? And for stuff like that, for like very emotional topics where everyone has chimes in and there's all this screaming at each other, right? You need to use you need to start using rationality. Like get no more emotions. Just go straight to the point and think, can I ever know her true body count? How many women are willing to volunteer that? All right. And if they are willing to volunteer that, how many of them even remember the like men that they've slept with? Right. So it's a futile question. It's a waste of time, right? But we have podcasts and hours and 10 hours, 30 hours, hundreds of hours of media and content and paragraphs and essays and research, all because we want to know this number that for some reason no one knows. There's still no way. It's like, when you cut down a tree, you want to find out the how old the tree is. That's easier to find than a woman's body count. So we're still here. A lot of guys still want to talk about body count. People still are so interested in what she did before they met them. And I understand why. I totally understand why. But we're now in what's called neuroticism levels of worrying about women, right? And what is masculine about that? What is masculine about a guy who's taken on the whole world, worrying about the future so much that he has to come up with a way to find this number? You're never gonna know it. Even the love of your life. There's only one way to know. That's if you sleep with a virgin. And that's because anatomically speaking, you'll see it. Biologically speaking, you will see it, the results splattered all over your bed. Right? You will see lots of blood. That's the only way you know her body count. And even then, you don't know how, what she did, but like non-vaginally with her body. You have no idea. So there's guys still stuck there, right? I know you guys aren't stuck there, but like there's guys still stuck there. Body count. As an example, right? We're just using this as an example. And for me, I never like sat down and looked at a girl and was like, what's her body count? No, the number one thing is, hey, I walked out of my apartment. I set up a date. I'm spending money. I hope this girl is likable. I hope I have a good time. I hope, and obviously I hope if she's attractive and doesn't catfish me, I hope that we have sex. And after we have sex, I hope she wants more because she's kind of attractive. Right. And the guys are stuck years stuck worrying about this arbitrary number that They'll never know. So I'll do a Twitter space or something like that just to see what the average person on Twitter is kind of thinking in terms of these topics. And I go in, I'm like, okay, is there any way to know? And guys would be like, well, her behaviors. And I'm just like, well, what about people that like, oh, look at these tradcons and their wildly public divorces. They married virgins or very, chaste women. Their relationships went to shit. Right? So what's the plan here? What do we do? Because right now, guys are neurotic. Guys are scared. They're scared that if they don't find the exact calibrated piece of scientific literature that says here's how you find if a girl's going to cheat on you in 10 years, then they're super neurotic. Like, hey, you're a man. You're not in this world to worry so much. You're here to do, right? So you could either stay in 2024, you can move to 3024 and find your answers on how to deal with this female open hypergamy that we have now, right? Which is women screaming at the top of their lungs at their sexual strategy in real time, and you kind of having to deal with listening to it. And that's what we're here for, right? Because I know how that feels, guys. I know how it feels because I make this content, so I have to have an ear to the ground in terms of what's viral, what's not, and I have to see all the time how women are constantly in public, of all races, of all ages, of all ideologies, are constantly screaming at the top of their lungs, my sexual strategy is best, and I'm winning, and I'm awesome, and men don't deserve to win. Right? And it's annoying, right? Remember that story I told, the crackhead versus the lawyer dynamic, where I'm sure you guys heard of it, but yeah. So I get it, but we need to move on. We can't be stuck in analysis paralysis, right? Analyzing, watching content like HOMAth, or constantly talking about stats, constantly talking about religion, politics, using dating apps only, stuff like that. Those are all buffers against rejection, right? Now, do you join a religion because you want to get laid? Probably not. You should probably join because you have faith and you believe in that. But you see the way these guys that are very like the Christ people, right? The Christ is King people. And whenever, let's say, one of the bigger conspirators that's caught their eye says something, right? They don't refute it with like experience, right? They refute it with Christ is King and you're a degenerate, right? They don't have a plan, right? They don't have hey, let's get guys married, let's start up a dating service. And if they do start a dating service, we all know what's going to happen. The girls are going to go for the hottest guys and consolidate, just like any other dating service, right? But there is no plan for them. They're waiting around, aka it's a buffer against rejection, right? Men think subconsciously if they join an ideology or a religion, that somehow within all that mess of getting accepted and becoming important within that institution, that they will be hand-delivered women because they're awesome. The truth is no, and that's why it's a buffer against rejection. But yes, let's take a break and we shall continue. Let's hit them with. Let's see what we'll hit him with. We'll hit him with this one. All right, guys, and we're back. Um, so the first thing I already kind of talked about a little bit is religion. Religion is a buffer against rejection, right? Because a lot of these guys get into the religion thinking, oh, if I join the religion, I will be hand delivered women. I don't have to put in the work, the individual work, like face the reality of me and my problems and my shortcomings, and go out there and talk to women, right? So uh, you'll see even influencers that join Islam, convert to Islam, and thinking that, hey, Islam is like a religion where I don't have to put the work to keep my woman in line because of the religion and the ideology, blah blah blah. Right? Yes, and speaking to my friend Michal, that I do shows with on Sunday mornings, he says, yeah, it's a very disingenuous thing to do to join a religion just because you want women, and not only that, you want women that you don't have to you yourself put boundaries on. The religion will do the legwork for you, right? And that is simply a thing that guys do uh, because again, but for against rejection, they want an institution, they want to outsource their problems, their reproductive problem to an institution like religion. So uh, if you guys see our interactions, the guys that stream with, if you see our interactions on, like, let's say Twitter, you'll see a lot of the times that we get called degenerate, right? Because uh, we supposedly, I have like every Sunday night I do drugs, and there's strippers that come over, and I'm snorting crank off their butt or something like that, right? No, I live a very quiet life. I have, if I am dating, I have like one woman a week come over, and the rest of the time I'm working. I'm, hanging out with my dog. I playing piano, and I'm just a very private life, right? Like I just don't worry about what other people are doing. So the reason that there's so much heat there, because, and it's not so much that we get women, right? Because a lot of them do, it's the fact that we remind them of their own shortcomings with women, right? We're all competing intersexually for women, but we remind them of their own shortcomings with women, and the fact that we went out there and we didn't use any of that in order to get women. We use our own selves. Like we just said, hey, I can believe in God, but I got to go talk to women myself. There is no one. My pastor isn't going to introduce me to people. My mother, my sister in the church, no one. I have to go out there and meet women themselves, and they hate that. They hate the fact that we have the balls and we made a reproductive problem our own problem, not anyone else's, right? And they don't hate us. They hate the fact that we remind them of that constantly, right? You know how painful it is for a guy to uh, make to build his whole life around a belief set, right? And someone like Rolo tell him, "Hey, marriage isn't a buffer against women's behavior, women's innate biological behavior drives, right? You still have to you have to become the game when you're married. You don't have to. You have, like, she knows you, she lives with you, so you have to become the game. And for a guy that is terrified of even approaching women and is finally married or has a relationship, that's scary. That it creates an anxiety. So you're going to attack someone like that. It's not a convenient truth for you. So of course, people that are religious that believe that, hey, women should just fall out of the sky or just be presented to you to church. Of course, they're gonna dislike this stuff, and of course, they're using religion as a buffer instead of going out there and meeting women themselves, right? So yeah, yeah, Bobby Peru, what's up, man? But yes, guys. All right, so far so good. I have not been canceled off of YouTube right now, so we will continue. So if you guys look at the thumbnail too, uh, another buffer against rejection is the charts, right? The fancy science charts, social soft science crap that a lot of people use in order to describe the problem, right? Again, to describe the problem, people. Hey, women are like this. 5 years later, women are like this. 5 years later, Women are like this. A decade of people telling us, hey, women are like this. Great. There are consecrators that's their job, right? They have to do the 1,000-yard stare of like everything. Like, look, this is how it is, and you take these tools and you use them for what is best for you, right? I'm not here to hold your hand, right? Rollo Tomasi, Ryan Stone, and then there's guys that kind of teach you more like, hey, if you want to learn how to talk to women in real time, like Troy Francis. Hey, if you want to improve your relationship, hell, we got a Common Man podcast who just gave me a $2 super chat. Thank you, sir. Who have made a guide for dating out in the country, right? So, but none of these people can hold your hand. You have to take action yourself. So what happens is these guys. By the way, Paul, you get one of these. Before I continue, let me get you one of these.
Thank you so much, best friend.
$2. Thank you, sir. Hello. Yes. Hello. Yes, there needs to be 30 likes on this video. But yeah, guys. Where was I? So you log in YouTube and you see these cool charts where, a guy with a very kind of comically CBS, C-SPAN type voice starts talking about the realities of women. And you've seen some of these realities. You're like, oh yeah, this is fun. It's nice to be confirmed for someone online to confirm my experiences and make me feel like I'm not alone, right? And that's a good thing, right? But here's the other part. Like this guy that's very entertaining, along with any other person that's mapping out female male behavior almost like with color pencils or on a podcast or in a comical way, right? Like, like Patrice O'Neal used to do with Black Phillip, or Homath does with, his content, or any one of these fun shows where you just watch the reality of dating explained in a very entertaining way. You're gonna just watch a lot of it. You're gonna be like, oh, I can't wait for the next show. I can't wait for the next piece of content. I want my trouble and my hangups with women to be made into something funny so I can relate to it. I want to feel like people relate to me, right? And what ends up happening over time is that these content creators end up, now that they have you and captured you, they tend to start saying things like, you should do this. We all should act a certain way. And you have to be like, your antenna has to go up and be like, wait a minute, what do you mean I should do something? What does that mean? What does that mean? Right? It means that they are trying to make you do something outside of your frame. It means that, hey, I have likes on a YouTube channel. I know what's best for you. And why do these content creators do that? Why do people follow them? Because, again, there is an issue with guys that watch this content, and instead of going out there and getting rejected, they want someone else to save them, to save them from women and their behavior. Right? So they want to be the guys that describe reality for you. They don't want you to go out there and be like, hey, yeah, you're kind of right, but this particular thing about women doesn't bother me, so it's not an issue. Right? Like the body count thing. Like, yeah, I can see how women that like have a lot of sex and are skanky, it could be hard for them to settle down. I could see that, right? But I've been on 4 dates, and I don't care about settling down right now. And if I do settle down, I want the girl to kind of like decide herself, right? And I am dating. Let's say I am dating a girl, and she's really nice. She makes me breakfast, brings me coffee, and sex is really good. I'm satisfied. Why do I have to worry about her body count? Everything's going good. She's obsessed with me. Crabs in a bucket. It could be crabs in a bucket where, like, hey, me, content creator, have trouble with women, so you have to have trouble with men. That's probably one of the reasons too. But yeah, guys, congregate here and we laugh at them. The guys that are out there uh, making their own conclusions about reality and experience at reality, aka touching grass, are just like, hey, I noticed this. Your experience could be different, but I noticed it. Did you notice it? No? Yes? Okay. Cool. And people get stuck. People get stuck in these loops where it's like, hey, uh, women are so bad, I'm not even going to try. Here's a out of pocket chick talk where a girl's saying something like, I want a guy who makes 100 and, whatever, $1 million, 500K. I'm 29 and a single mom, and a guy needs to make 300K in order for her to date me. And guys are like, I'm so angry. Women suck. And I'm like, guys, when was the last time a woman asked you how much you made? Tell me. A girl goes on a TikTok. Again, the superficial pre-selection, right? I need a guy that's 6 feet tall. Ask a girl out there if she could show you how much 6 feet tall is with her hand. They can't even parallel park, right? They don't have the spatial awareness men have, so they can't really tell the length and distance of things because they never had those peers when we were evolving, right, as humans. So imagine how much years of anger and resentment towards women you could save, right? Because you are entitled to your rage phase, right? But you can't stay there forever. You can skip simply by stop using this stuff as a buffer against rejection and say, hey, that's an observation. A person online on a TikTok said something crazy. One, it could be fake because there is a lot of incentive for you to fake outrage on the internet. Number two, if it's real, it could be just this person or a group of people that really screwed up in life or are low IQ or have nothing to offer you except, And number three, it could be real, but let's go out and confirm it. So there really is no excuse not to let some other man describe what you should think in the reality, right? And one of the things I have to remind other guys, like, hey, they have this thing called superficial pre-selection where women say something about a man that they want, like the ick list or whatever, but they bang guys that are just making half of what she wants, treat her bad, don't even care about her. And it's like, the only way you'll ever know that and be convinced of that is if you go experience yourself, like in the form of, hey, you get rejected, but then the next week you see the same girl with an absolute douchebag loser, right? Or you date a girl who leaves you, like, hey, you're just casually dating. She say this is not working out, and then she gets with the guy like that. Or you become that guy. You become the douchebag loser type that everyone complains about, and you're like, holy crap, she's bringing me dinner from a dinner date she went on with a nice guy, right? And those are the guys that laugh at people that are constantly mad at women all the time. They're just like, hey, dude, you got to play the game. Either you play the game or you quit and complain and become one of these people that have a lifelong subscription to the problem describers. Hey, women are like this. Dude, they've been saying the same thing for 5 years. Women have not changed. The only thing that changed was like COVID kind of accelerated everyone into being more online, and women are using dating apps, but women are still the same. They've always been the same way. So are you going to be still stuck in a lifelong subscription of people that describe the problem? And it's even worse because let's say you follow a one content creator or one writer or whatever, right? And they describe the problem. And then you move on and you're just like, okay, I know every single problem with women. I know about hypergamy. I know about why they give up their babies. I know all the bad stuff, dark stuff of women, right? And then you're just like, okay. And then another content creator, another shiny object comes along. You're like, ooh, I'm gonna follow this person. And then that you spent 4 or 5 years knowing and describing the problem, but you've done nothing to go out and solve it, right? And I know, Paul, you talk about this. Uh, people like you're a hypergamy strategist, right? Meaning a lot of guys are like, I there's hypergamy and exists, and I'll never get a girl because I'm Chad. I'm not Chad. And then like you go outside and you see regular men with, above average attractive women. And then you have to explain to this guy's like, okay, it's not that it's not that it's luck, right? So let's think. What would cause a guy that doesn't look like Jason Momoa to have an attractive woman? Let's think. Let's start asking the right questions instead of let's go back to my red pill content creator who tells me that women have hypergamy. Let's actually start asking the right questions, right? Which is what most of the red pill is built on, asking the right questions. So if an average guy is with an attractive woman, what are ways that an average guy could get an attractive woman? Okay, so some guys will be like, well, he has money. He's probably a trust fund baby, or he comes from a well-off family. That's relatable. That could be. What's another thing? He's like the safe option, right? I'm like, okay, yeah, okay. He could have game, like, okay, yeah. See, so now we're starting to ask the right questions, right? And then guys will come in and be like, yeah, my friend, he has a hot girlfriend, but that's because he had a very hot girlfriend before that. So now girls see his dating record and it's just like, wow, and something like that, right? Pre-selection. So then you start learning about like you start forming an action plan. Like, okay, if this guy can get it, what did he do? Right. One of the things that one of the most common questions is guys are asking, how do I learn game? Right. And I'm like, wow, that's like, how do I learn quantum physics, or how do I learn how to paint art or something? And the thing is, like, I always start with the first question is think of the most attractive, or sorry, not the most attractive. Think of the most likable person that you like, that you've interacted with. Sorry, the most likable person. It is male or female, any coworker, boss, anything. What made them so likable? Right, start there, because I want to shift from, hey, read this book, right? Obviously, a lot of guys I work with have great content, right? But I want also there be start using this noggin that you have and be like, okay, read this, read a guide from Tro Francis, right? He's a world-class, womanizer. But also think in your own life, the most likable people, how were they like with you? How did they treat you? And then guys will be like, oh, well, they always asked me about me. They never talked about themselves. They're always talking about me. Like, how was I feeling? What did I do that day? And they seem genuinely interested in me. Oh, shit. Write that down. You have now provided yourself more information than a 2-hour podcast on women are hypergamous. And did you see what this woman did on this TikTok, right? You're actually trying to learn and understand, right? And that is the most important part of this process, is that you learn through experience. And then that is tempered and formulated and helps people connect the dots for you that you're not connected yet. You haven't connected yourself yet. And then eventually you come with an action plan of how to go about your life with women and dating. So now that okay, so this person, he asked me about me, he or she asked me about me, never seemed self-interested, always put me, like, wanted to know how I was feeling, what I was doing that weekend or whatever. So you think, okay, so when I go on a date, let me try this. Let me start being like really interested in what women's life is like, what their job. I know it's tough sometimes, right? Because women can be pretty boring, but you show a genuine interest in their life, and then you start asking deep questions and stuff like that. And you realize that, yeah, it may not be the most tight game in the world, but at least you're starting to become likable as a person. And that is one thing that guys don't want to do, right? Because if you're using dating apps, if you're obviously I'm pro dating apps, right? But if you're using religion, if you're using dating apps, if you're using science, if you're using studies, politics, any of that stuff, none of that's going to teach you how to be likable. None of that. The only way to be likable is to go out there and learn how to be likable by watching other people, right? So I'll tell you my experiences. Like there are things about me that I don't like. I'm a moody person sometimes. I go out and I'm just like, look at these people, who do they think they are? Like these weird negative thoughts, right? And I am fully conscious that I do this, right? So I'm like, okay, look at all these likable people, the people that are interacting with everyone, people that are getting hugs from all the girls, the people that seem to be having the most fun. What are they doing? And I started thinking, okay, they say hi to everyone when they arrive, right? So when I go to salsa night, I'm going to start saying hello to everyone, giving them a hug, right? Um, okay, so smile. I smile more, right? Smile, say hi, have short, quick conversations with people, right? Um, let people pet my dog when I'm walking by, right? Slow down if I'm walking by somewhere and someone wants to come up to my dog, let him pet and have a quick conversation, right? Things like that. And I think my problem was always lack of investment, lack of care of other people. I always was like in my own head thinking about my own problems. So now when I go out, even if I'm just not looking for, if I even I'm just gonna go out and dance a little bit and blow off some steam, I simply say, hey, this isn't about me. There are people here that like me, that want to see me have fun, and then I have to be that light. And these kind of things dawn on me because sometimes I'll be sitting down just like that, tired, and then one of my female friends will go up to me and like shake me, like, "Hey, stop frowning, have fun." Obviously she's kind of drunk herself, but then I realized, like, hey, being invested and present was my issue. I was not present when I was doing these things. I was just my mind was somewhere else. I was thinking about something else. So I did my best. I was like, hey, when I'm alone, I'll think about my problems and figure it out. But when I'm out with people that I know, I'm going to figure out about that stuff and just be in the moment and invested. So, yeah. All right. Thank you for the super sticker, sir. You get one of these.
Thank you so much, best friend.
$2 super sticker from our friend Julian, our member. Julian. So yeah. Flavor says, I don't know, Nick. I don't think the anger stage can be skipped. Yeah, most of the time it can. Like you won't be able to just, all right, I understand women now. I understand why they destroyed my life and broke my heart, and I've been, getting destroyed by women my whole life. I understand. No, it's going to be because it's not about them so much, right? It's about you. You feel like stupid. You feel uh, duped, tricked, bamboozled, whatever. And it's like, okay, well, um, you feel embarrassed, right? So there's an anger phase. So you binge on red pill content as you should, right? Because you need to learn this stuff so you don't get got again. And eventually, um, you get more and more angry, right? Because you start learning the ways that you've been manipulated and you've been kind of like embarrassed and humiliated, made to look stupid, less of a human being, used, and all that stuff. You need to go through that, right? Because you are unplugging, you are removing the programming that you were taught since you were a little boy about how you need to sacrifice for women and that women are always right and that there's something inherently wrong with being a man. So, and what you want isn't important, it's what other people want. So that's hard for a guy that to find out all that once, right? When he starts looking at this content. So as you unplug, though, you need to give yourself the opportunity to see through your new red pill lens the world now, right? You can't just unplug and be like, okay, now I swear off women or I'm angry all the time. You are entitled to your emotions, right? Obviously, but you need to also give yourself the gift of now with your new red pill lens, give it a shot. Like talk to women, right? Give it a shot at least, because it'll help you know what you want. You'll get to have sex from time to time. I don't know about you, sex is pretty awesome, and you get a shot of a normal life now, a healthy view of women, right? Which isn't always positive. Sometimes you are allowed to acknowledge terrible sides of women, but you'll have a healthy dating life and you can move on, and you don't have to spend energy and calories being angry all the time, right? You can move on. It's a phase. It's just like any other thing in life. You'll go through it. sadly, a lot of men stay stuck there, or a lot of men never even get there. But you have to go if you do want to consume this stuff, give yourself the opportunity to see the world now through your new red pill lens, right? Julian says, Nuke, you'd be proud. I've been dancing merengue all night with all the ladies. No lessons. I'm late. LOL. Hey, it's fine, man. Well, I'm glad. Yeah, maybe take a free. A lot of times there's free lessons. These DJs and instructors, they do free lessons. Drop by. Um, I often post videos of me at like a kind of like panoramic view of the salsa night I go to, and if you guys notice, the ladies are having lots of fun, right? And that's a crazy thing, right? Where you go on the internet and the women are all angry, yelling at me, telling me that like age gap relationships don't exist, blah blah blah. But um, sorry, age gaps relationships don't exist, but you go to if you go in real life to see women in these really fun places, sexual zones like a salsa night, um, right? You see them smiling and having fun, right? And that's the important thing about going to describe reality, um, is because it's because I'm not gonna let like a rad femme or a black pillar or an incel or whatever tell me what reality is. That's not very manly, right? It's more manly to go out there and like explore and go hunt. That's the most manly thing you can do. What is going on out there? Is this new guy right? Let's see. Let me test his ideas by going out myself, right? And that's what I want everyone who watches my content. Test my ideas, test my stuff, and go out there and experience yourself. And then you come back and say, "Hey, yeah, Nuke, you're way off, dude," because at least you tried. You gave you cared, So yeah, shit. Even I had a lot of fun. Yeah, it is fun, man, and you get to burn calories, and it's great. So yeah, politics is another one. Politics is one of those buffers against rejection where guys they think they can vote their way into a better world where women are better, right? Women are this, women are that. Let's all get together, discuss political ideology from the comfort of our homes, and get maybe women. These conservative women will get in line if we get rid of abortion or anything like that. Women will fall in line. No, not really. No, they'll just do it clandestinely, right? Um, so ultimately, guys, just like religion, just like science, just like studies, whatever, it's also a buffer against rejection. And guys all congregate there to kind of look at the alphas, the guys that get it, the guys that are trying, the guys that, uh, you know, look at all this and say, hey, thanks, Roger Tomarso, for your book. I'm going to go see if you're right. I'm going to go see for myself. And that is masculine. That is like a person that says, I'm neither going to believe everything is gospel, but I'm willing to test your ideas myself by living life like a normal human being. And I did that for 10 years. Read it in 2013. I read it in April of 2014 is when I read The Rational Male. And it's been 10 years, right? And here's my work, right? Like Rolo said, here's my work. My work is dated lots of women, and I learned the darkest parts of them. And also I learned some of the best parts of them. I've gotten my heart broken. Um, I have been and slept with women I only thought were possible, if I went overseas and paid for it, right? Um, I've seen true sadness in women. I've seen women that truly I was their only source of happiness, right? And that was one of the difficult things for me, that I was the only positive thing in their life, right? A guy that understood them, that knew how to get them going sexually, that treated them right. Like, and when I say right, I don't mean like a simp or like, like a goober. I mean like, was fun, was playful, uh, led with being exciting, ran game, teased them, right? A cocky, funny routine, all that. Um, I was the only thing that made them smile their whole life. They had nothing going on, right? They had made so many mistakes up to that point. You get to see all of it, right? And That's why I write these stories on Twitter. A lot of people are like, "Oh, these stories was lame." Like, dude, I'm like, dude, I can be ice cold sometimes, right? And I usually am, but at times too, there are times where you're going to realize, like, maybe you guys can do it, but I cannot be mad at women overall. I get more mad at individual women for the things they do, but women overall, it's tough. It's tough for me to just be mad at women all the time and say this and that, right? That's not to say that, I don't find them annoying. I don't, you know, like a normal guy would, right? But having met and gotten a window into the darkest parts of women and the things that they go through, I get it. I get the way they are. I kind of get the problems, the decisions they have to make, how they're just so biologically beholden to run away from average guys and get pumped and dumped by guys that with game, guys that are attractive, guys with money and game and all that stuff. I get it. Like, it makes sense to me, right? Because if you see the average guy, the guys that use the internet and other things as buffers for rejection, um, you would be like, yeah. And a lot of guys that date out there, right? They when they become the attractive guy, they start like, man, was I really one of those guys that thought that, hey, I could vote or pray or swipe right or read a study my way into girls? No, right? Or maybe yes. Maybe you were that guy. And you start thinking, why did I think like that? It's because you were afraid at some point to go make your own conclusion about women. You were afraid. You were like, hey, uh, I don't want to go out there. I want someone else to save me. And you didn't look inward. And that was like my final stage of everything. I started looking inward. Why does it bother me? Why is it that in my mind, I think just because I'm jacked, I will have a positive outcome every time? Why is it that, hey, I have money now? Why isn't every girl falling head over heels and trying to lock me down? Right. These questions, right? These covert contracts, all these stuff, right? It's all for you focused. It has nothing to do with women. It's all you. You are the center of the problem. You always will be because you can control women. And since you can't control women, they aren't your problem. You can control yourself. So that is your problem. So when women say something crazy, it is a problem, right? But the problem is not them. The problem is how are you going to deal with it? What are you going to do now that you know this piece of information or you know that women are capable of something, whether good or bad, right? Women are sleeping around a lot. Okay. Can you stop them from sleeping around? No. So what do we do? Hey, let's use protection, guys, because women much are promiscuous. They're much more promiscuous than they used to be. So let's use protection if we're going to go out and have fun. Right there, you go. Instead of asking women to do the possible, which is stop having sex, you you said, hey, how do I not get an STD or a girl pregnant? Wear protection. Make control the birth. Right. Like, you could get a vasectomy. You can use a condom. Whatever your flavor of control the birth is. Right. But you made it about you. You made it about you, and you didn't make a 30-minute video with drawings about how terrible it is that women have sex, right? Uh, you said instead you watched a video on how to have sexual discipline and ways to keep yourself out of trouble or not getting a girlfriend or an STD, right? I wish more guys would watch my stuff. I wish I had lots and lots of followers. It just takes time to build a channel, right? And when you're fighting, like my last show got taken down. So this may be, it may be that time where I might get demonetized or I might get my YouTube channel taken down. Who knows, right? But I might not be here forever. So I would hope that at some point, right, that a lot of you, I know you guys watch other people's content, right? I can't tell you guys what to watch. I can't tell you what to do. But I would hope that you guys look at my catalog for an issue you're having and maybe skip ahead all the bullshit intros, the long ass bullshit intros that I used to do. I'm sorry about that. Um, and find the answer you're looking for, at least, or at a minimum, understand that there's a guy going what you're that went through what you're going to, and it at least tells you, hey, it's going to be okay. This is what you do now. Because I wish I either was better at finding these solutions, or I wish someone would have told me. Right? When a guy like Fresh made that mistake, right? I'm sure that there was much more to it than I know. But when a guy like Fresh makes that mistake, fails the jumbotron rule, right? It's not that he failed it, right? It's that he has Rollo Tomasi in his phone, RP Thor, all these amazing content creators in their phone. He could call, hey, I fucked up, or hey, I'm thinking about doing this. He has world class lawyers. He has the money, everything. A guy like me, I didn't have any of that. I had to open a book. I had to type in, hey, SCD scare, what to do, and spend maybe an hour looking for information. A lot of guys don't have that level of guidance or problem solvers in their life, or people that can give them, world class advice. And my advice is not world class. My content is not world class, right? But realize that a lot of people don't have this privilege of having to know this information. Having, like today, I posted Rollo's famous SMB chart, and a Army colonel, I think it was Army or Air Force colonel, told me, hey, when I was 31, or when I was it 35, 30, no, when I was 36, I was I was able to get up every day, run 5 miles, and uh, I was a colonel, or what the rank below colonel, and I didn't know how like valuable I was as a man. I took myself, and other people took me for granted, and that's what see, and that's not because he used any of these things as a buffer against rejection. It's because he simply didn't know. He had no idea. And those are the guys I want to reach, because I know what it is to see a guy who has so much going for him and his life is just turned upside down by simply he just doesn't have the tools, right? And it's also pains me to see guys with every single tool in the world class, everything in their phone, and they still mess up. And there's guys out there that are having STD scared and pregnancy scared. There's guys out there that are getting cheated on. There's guys out there that want to cheat and they don't know why. They're like, I love my wife or I love my girlfriend, but I want to cheat. What's wrong with me? And they don't understand themselves. They don't understand why they are the way they are. There's guys that don't know how to deadlift. And there's guys that don't know how to eat. There's guys that don't know how to pick a good haircut for themselves. There's guys that don't know anything, that are struggling because they simply don't know where to find the answers. You can say, well, YouTube is full of how to deadlift and how to eat, right? But there's so much incoming information everywhere from where guys are like, don't deadlift, it's terrible for you. And guys are like, yes, you have to deadlift. Everyone's telling you no, but you should, and it gets confusing and overwhelming for a guy, right? But when it comes to this red pill stuff, there were times where I wish I knew what to do. This girl's crying me saying I gave her this STD. She knows where I live. She's kind of crazy. I didn't know she was crazy until now. What do I do? Do I go take the test with her? What happens if I'm clean and she's not? Is she going to make a scene at the clinic? These are real life problems and things you have to like think about, right? A lot of people are too afraid to even ask their parents about or their father about this, right? Luckily, I made a show on this. So like, hey, like if you get in this situation, this is what I did. I'm now friends with that girl. Yes, she does text me once a year saying, "Hey, I'm sorry things didn't work out. You really were the guy for me." But I handle it in such a mature way that I kind of was able to get a human being to become my friend after a very negative experience, right? And I also learned a lot about women and how, when it comes to taking accountability, even when the literal results prove that, hey, it is your fault, not mine, that you are now permanently have this disease, right? They still want to blame you and they still sad. And it's not a function of they don't know what to do because they literally cannot take accountability. They cannot. They have to blame someone and all that. And yeah. And even after even all that yelling and all that stuff, if you still text me once a year saying, "Hey, you were really the guy for me. I'm sorry." And then another text saying, "Why did you treat me like that? I really was into you. You were the one." So guys, that's why I do what I do. Because while guys are congregating online in comment sections, looking for another guy to tell them what reality is so they can quit or complain, I'm the one telling you what to do when a girl calls you crying that you gave her an STD and you know for a fact or almost for a fact that you didn't. And those are real life situations that my friends go through, that I went through. And I know that's just an example, right? It may not be such a big deal to you, right? But there are times in your life where you may have to deal with the situation, right? And who's going to tell you what to do? Or maybe you don't even need my help. Maybe it's just like, yeah, I know exactly what to do. I tell her to fuck off, whatever. Maybe that's how you do shit and it works for you, right? But this is what worked for me. Try it. So, yeah. Daniel Hernandez with the $4.99. You get one of these, sir.
Thank you so much, best friend.
Daniel Hernandez says, "Keep up the good work." I will, sir. But I just got attacked by the Matrix. So, yeah. The Grim Villain. The worst thing I've seen from a woman was a membership to Jack Napier's channel. I had to go, sir. Oh shit! I love this running joke we have. It's great. Well, yeah, guys. Hey guys, shoot away. You have any question? I pretty much that's all I had on it. Like, I feel like I've been kind of rambling for a little bit, but yeah, it's basically, hey, all these things buffers against rejection, right? You're allowed to be political, right? You're allowed to obviously you're allowed to have your faith and believe in God or whatever God you believe in. Of course, like I'm not here to tell you what to do. Of course, you're allowed to open your dating apps, swipe left and swipe right. Of course, and of course, you're allowed to watch other content creators and have a good time. Like I'm still gonna watch Homat. I think his stuff is hilarious. However, if you ever get into your mind for a second, right, that any of these things is going to give you a woman, it's going to hand deliver you a woman, you are sorely, sorely mistaken, my friend. And you're going to be mad and bitter for the rest of your life because some red pill weirdo is going to post a picture at salsa night with the women that you think you're entitled to, whether it be young, hot Asian women or tall, Aryan blonde women or whatever you like, right? And I'm going to be interacting with them, making them laugh, befriending them, even maybe taking one home. And there's nothing any of the institutions, ideologies, beliefs can do. Nothing. Nothing. So, what are you going to do? I'm the man in the arena. There's nothing you can do against the man in the arena. You can't criticize him. I mean, you can, but he's in the arena. You can throw studies at the guy in the arena. Hey, did you know that 33% of men aren't getting laid? And the guy is having trouble getting laid, and he looks back and he spits on the ground and says, "Sorry, I'm actually trying to fix my life." and the guy's fighting in the arena, and then some other guy throws him, "Hey, look at this TikTok with this crazy chick that says she needs 200K to be happy with a man." And you're gonna look at it and like, God, I'm trying to fix my problem. Leave me the hell alone. And then a pastor throws the Bible. Hey, read this and stop trying to have sex. Wait until you find a virgin girl in the church. And you're just like, that's unrealistic, dude. I gotta fix this myself. And that brings us to the moment where uh, guys get tired. They reach their Forrest Gump moments. Remember when Forrest Gump was running in the desert and then he stopped out of nowhere, just abruptly stopped in the worst place possible in the Southwest United States, right? And everyone was following him. A lot of people were encouraging him, questioning him why he was running. And, he said, "I just feel like running." And then he looks back at all the people. There's a long, awkward silence. And he said, "I'm tired and I want to go home now." And a lot of guys get to that point. They online, they're like, "Yeah, red pill guys are degenerates and PUAs and whatever they call content creators these days." But then 2 years, 3 years happen. The relationships aren't working out. They're not getting laid, whatever. And they see us married, celebrating anniversaries, happy. They'll make fun of our wives and girlfriends, saying they're all ugly. Like even like Rolo, he's posted his lovely wife, and he got made fun of. Ryan's been happily married, common law marriage, for what, like 13 years now, 14 years now. They still make fun of his relationship. I posted a cute little Asian girl that made me happy for a long time, right? She wasn't a bad bitch Miami Colombian girl like everyone expects me to have, but she made me happy. She was the most competent woman I ever dated. You know, this woman was kind of like spoiled me. I've never been, and not only like for doing things, just being around a competent person made me realize how lazy the common person and common woman is, right? So I learned a lot from her, and I got made fun of her then, like, "Oh, dude, really? You're gonna date this?" Like I'm like, dude, um, I live in reality. I have preferences. I've dated women that a lot of guys would pay money just to be around them, and I've dated women that were inspiring to me, right? Not inspiring as, "Hey, do your mask," like to give them free shit that they didn't earn, but inspired me to be like, "Hey, these are the type of women that I want to be, that deserve a good man." When I say good, I mean like the Prince Charming, the 80% alpha, 20% beta guy, right? But you're the man in the arena, and they're throwing TikToks at you, and they're throwing YouTube videos at you. The proletariat class, the fat people on the sideline, that are lazy, and they're just like, "But didn't you see this TikTok, warrior? You should give up, warrior." And you're there bloody, and you're just like, "No, I'm fighting the good fight. I'm figuring this stuff out." And one day, guys, hopefully you get, if you're not already, or if you're not surpassed me, you'll get to a point where I'm at, and you'll be at complete peace. Rejection doesn't hurt you. I mean, rejection does bother me a little sometimes, but you look back and you'll be like Gladiator, like Russell Crowe, and be like, "Are you not entertained?" Which is what I do now. Are you not entertained? Have you people that thrown so much buffers against rejection that I was so like, I could have taken it and just been one of those guys. They threw religion at me. They threw dating apps at me. They threw everything that is a buffer against rejection. And I just said, "No, I want reality. I want to get rejected. I want to be alive. I want to be in the moment, because you only have one life. And I like feeling alive. I don't want people to describe or live through vicariously through another person. I want to feel the pain of rejection myself, but I also want to feel the joy of, you know, having a beautiful woman in my bed moaning my name, right? Or, you use pornography. That is a buffer against rejection as well. Sedations are also a buffer against rejection as well. It's all the same. It's guys trying to convince themselves that women aren't the best thing, women aren't worth the effort. The choice is yours. Every man has to decide for himself. So, all right, guys, you have any questions? I think there's a. Did I get all the super chats? Yep. I didn't mean to get too somber on you guys, but I get really inspired. I get really inspired. I think back to the times when I didn't have the answers and I had no one to tell me the problems, or I didn't know how to search for them. Because obviously, there's a lot of good guys out there that make good stuff. I didn't even know where to go, where to search. But my content is based on mainly the stuff that I struggled with, and I wish I had someone to tell me what to do in that situation, right? And sometimes you gotta give back. Hey, I want it to be easier for the next guy, not easier for them in terms of like taking action, but understanding easier, right? So yeah. Feigned indignation is becoming a very useful tool for me. Oh, dude, feigned indignation is so much fun with girls. You guys have no idea. Like right now, a girl that you guys are seeing, text her like, "Hey, I'm pretty pissed off at you," or something I used to like to do. Just text her, "Really?" question mark, and she'll be like, "Question mark? What do you mean?" Oh, now we're playing dumb. You just play with that, dude. Just have fun with that. And that's guys. I hate the fact that they have to be charming and fun with women and unpredictable. But when you finally are, it's so much fun. I just don't, I just don't get it, guys. Like when I finally learned that girls just want to have a playful, fun time with you. Obviously, text game isn't the best way to build attraction, right? But like once you sleep with the girl, or you're dating her, or even your wife, right? Little things like this make it fun, right? And you do back and forth. You'll say something really mean, and then later on, you'll say something really romantic, and you do that, right? Um, But yeah, what did Grim write? Grim, what did you write? Grim, I get inspired too. I think back to when I unsubbed from Jack's channel. Always puts me in a good. I'm gonna screenshot this. Hold on. Oh wait. Hold on. Yeah, let me screenshot. There you go. And the cool thing about screenshotting, that it saves automatically. Thanks for that, dude. You're gonna get. I don't know if I have you on Twitter, but I'm gonna tag you if you're on Twitter. Stop touching my pens to the girl whose desk I stole. What do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean? Like, stop touching my pens? Hmm. King trust issues. Sometimes I randomly tell a girl I'm cool with "fuck you." Sometimes somehow it works for me. Yeah, that's a little extreme, but hey, if it works, it works, dude. I ain't here to. I don't lock it. Um, some of the things I do with feigned indignation. Yeah, I would like really question mark, and then they'd be like, "What do you mean?" And then I'll be like, uh, "Wow, are we really playing dumb right now?" And then she'd be like, "Stop," and then you'll be like, "I didn't take you for a gaslighter, but all good. It's all right. We'll talk about it later." And if she keeps insisting, just say something like adorable at the end or something. Like, "What is it? What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about." "Well, I'm just mad at how fine you look. You've been looking lately," or something like that. Right? It's like a roller coaster for them. They thought they pissed you off, and then they don't know, and they're trying to search through their behavior, their phone, a text that you sent or they sent, or something they posted to piss you off, and they're just like, and then they're going in the group chat like, "Oh, Nuke's mad at me today. I don't know what I did. Oh man, am I right?" And then at the end of that, she's like, "I need you to tell me what I did," and you're just like, what you did was look way too good, and I'm mad now. You look way too fine." And she's gonna giggle and be like, "God damn it, this guy he gets it. He knows how to play. He's playing ball with me." And that is the best gift you can give to a woman, is being charming and fun. Feigned indignation is one of my favorite things. It works on the ladies on Twitter. I act like uh, I'm absolutely offended by the things they say. I pretend that I'm just very sensitive. A lot of guys are like, "Wow, what a pansy!" You know, you can't believe you're offended. So what I'll do if a girl says something mean to me on a Twitter post, I'll be like, uh, I suggest you don't talk to me like that, or I prefer you change your attitude, please. And they'll be like, ha ha ha, what do you mean? Like I'm like, you're hurting my feelings and I don't like it. And then they giggle. And then I get a follow from them. Guys, it's built into their subconscious so deep. I feel like women are actively trying to find fun men because men in real life are so boring. Why do you think they come to Twitter? Men in their life are so boring. There's such a drag that they're looking for somewhere for some kind of excitement, something that's missing from men in their real life, whether they're married or single or dating or whatever. So give it to them. That is your job. Your job is not to be her guide, her rock. It's not to be to protect her or be her financial benefactor, right? It's not to understand her. It's to be a fuck machine. And part of the deal of being a fuck machine, guys, is that you have to be fun and exciting. That is more important to her than the actual sex. Right? The sex is just like the whipped cream on top, the cherry on top for them. The fun is in how you interact before it. Right? And trust me, not a lot of guys are saying things like, hey, I think I actually hate you. I don't know. What do you think? Something like that. And she'd be like, what do you mean? I've And it's crazy because the fastest way to get nudes is not by asking for them. It's by feigning indignation. Right? Hey, I think we should fight. Or send her, something you can do is screenshot a set of boxing gloves on Amazon, send it to her, and say, "Hey, I've been thinking that you do a lot of things that bother me. And I think we should fight it out. So I'm getting you these gloves. What do you think about these gloves?" Or something like that, right? You got to be fun, guys. You got to use this stuff for. You got to have fun with it. Women are made to have fun. Do not take seriously what the gods made for fun. Or you can subscribe to their red pill dating channels and subscribe to their Christianity and politics channels and sit down and be like, "Yes, Miss Jones," or YouTube content creator conservative 42069. You make a lot of sense. We have to get together and defeat those damn Democrats. Or you can have fun like me, you know. But anyways, guys, that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for the comments, the super chats. I appreciate you. Come on, man, Paul podcast, Julian and Daniel Hernandez. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you, Julian, for becoming a member. Bobby Peru from watching from Twitch. Appreciate you. X Runner, nice to see you. Matthew, nice to see you too, my friend. Serio, guys. I'm very busy now, right? I dropped 2 articles on Patreon and an article on Substack. You guys can subscribe to those. Substack and Patreon will have similar similar articles and similar content, right? But Patreon will be, I'm thinking of making Patreon more like video essays and all that stuff. So be on the lookout for that. I'll put my Substack in the chat here. You guys want to subscribe? Because that's where basically everything that I post in the Substack is going to be my book. So, you get in there, you go in there, and then I'll have stories, and it's going to, in my book, it will be based on the dating thread, right? So right now I think I'm on point 2. I got 98 more to go, but obviously I can't, there's things that I'm not going to be able to expound too much on. Like I had one of my points is like thick Asians exist. There's not really much to talk about there, right? I'm just going to put a list of women Asian women that tend to be more on the curvy side. If you are into curvy women that are Asian, right? And that's all I can post. It's not going to be a very quality post, But there's going to be deeper topics like we're going to frame. Obviously, Ryan Stone is the expert on that. He just wrote a book, but sorry, he wrote Dread, but Frame, he wrote a book on that earlier on a couple years ago. But as I go through Substack, those are all going to compile into one book, and I'm going to put it all together and then serve you guys a very the best I can do. I'm not a great writer, right? But people want to know my experiences and how I got to these conclusions and all that. So thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you later.